another thing that I kind of brought along to share if people are interested. There was an amazing tradition that got started in New York City in the 20s and flourished, well, mostly through the 40s, but a bit into the 60s, of accordions that were specially made for professional players in the music halls in New York and other big cities like Boston and Chicago. They were sort of designed really to represent and advertise, if you will, the identity not only of the individual musician, in this case Mr. Madden, but also something about their cultural identity. And you see the Irish and American flags. You had people that had emigrated from Ireland, especially about that time, some people that were born here, but their Irish identity was important to them. And the harp and the shamrocks and all these cultural symbols. It wasn't only the Irish. You'll find at the same time people who are Serbians, might have their flag and the American flag. You might have the Italian flag and the American flag. It was a kind of common iconography that was developing around that time. And actually, a lot of these people were not very literate either, so really the symbols probably spoke louder than words would have done in that way. And they really say so much. These were designed before there were microphones, but this thing, out of deference to it being 90 years old, I'm going to try and play it a little bit gently in this heat, and we'll be grateful that we have the microphones. But I apologize in advance if it's a little brash. And a wonderful man named Hugh O'Rourke, a retired New York City policeman, was saving these things from the dumpsters all through the 70s and 80s, where they were being thrown away by people that didn't want them anymore. And he had a huge collection of them. And he was just so kind to make this one and another one available to me. So I always try and remember Hugh O'Rourke and thank him so much. He's still alive, but he's still alive, but he still deserves my great gratitude for help with this. And so we have Hugh O'Rourke, and then before him, E.F. Madden, the former player of this accordion, lost to history now. I'm its custodian now, and now we're passing on a different aspect of the tradition to Shauna here today. This is a slip jig in 9/8 time that I composed for Hugh. It's called O'Rourke in the Catskills, where he used to try and spend his summers. At the Irish Alps, they called it. You escape the heat of New York City, and families would go to the Catskill Mountains in southern New York State to have a little bit of a break. Sometimes just the women and kids would go, and the men were still working away in the sewers or whatever they were doing. But let's do the subjects twice each. Maybe not steady. such a joy playing with Shauna O'Hara. I've missed company to play music with, especially someone to supply the rhythm and the backing for 20 years in Miami. It was just a joy to have met you.